Over the last 2 decades, the Earth's average surface temperature has risen by almost 1.2 degrees. Glaciers are retreating. Global sea levels have risen by around 8 centimeters. And plastic has pervaded our oceans. Devastating droughts, floods and heat waves are more frequent. How we live and how we work must all change. But no corporate strategy will make the difference that is needed unless first there is a critical ingredient. It is care. Enough to make a difference for those around us and our future together. Without care, there is nothing. There is no work on a dead planet. At Harmony, we know this all too well. In this COVID age, where an average of up to 10 people depend on each salary, we know what responsibility we have. Our gold provides not just wealth to this nation of ours, but pride, purpose, and hope for all our people. We do our best to mine with the utmost care, with safety our priority. We work hard to build real, long-term value for all our stakeholders. We are working with a finite resource, but we believe the possibilities are infinite. Through education, by uplifting every member of our Harmony family, and by integrating our resources, our intellect and our people, and thinking first of the environment, we can become more sustainable in every way. It is the only answer. For those who care are the ones who win.
Good morning and welcome to the Harmony Virtual ESG Day. My name is Jared Kutzer, Head of Investor Relations. Thank you for joining us today for an in-depth discussion on why we believe that ESG is part of Harmony's DNA. Due to COVID, we've had to take the necessary precautions and therefore filmed each of our executives individually to ensure a responsible and safe environment. We encourage you to engage with us as we unpack our ESG strategy and what Harmony is doing to demonstrate true sustainability both in South Africa and Papua New Guinea. So please feel free to post questions on the comments section of the YouTube channel or post them during the Q&A session. At Harmony, we understand the importance of mining for the future, and as the South African gold mining champion, we have illustrated time and again that sustainability is the driving force of our business. The theme for today is Who Cares Wins. These 3 words encapsulate everything that we do from a sustainability perspective, ensuring our actions translate into value creation for all. Harmony has shown over the years that we care about the stakeholders we engage and partner with and ensure that they benefit through responsible mining. I would like to welcome our executive team who will be discussing Harmony's sustainability strategy. We will be speaking with Peter Steenkamp, our CEO, Boipelo Lukubo, FD, Melanie Naidi-Vermaak, Group Executive for Sustainable Development, Mashego, Executive Director, Corporate Affairs, Anton Buthelezi, Executive, Human Resources, and Shalom Mahatla, Group Company Secretary. Other members of the executive team available during the Q&A session are our COO, Beyers Nel, and the Senior Group Executive responsible for Enterprise Risk and Investor Relations, Marianne van der Walt. At Harmony, our operating philosophy is profit with purpose. Our operations and activities impact the lives of so many people. To operate sustainably, we understand the importance of truly caring about our people, the many stakeholders we engage with, the environment, and all those who are impacted by our business. Our employees return home each day with a sense of pride, while our operations ensure our host communities continue to thrive. By doing what we do best, which is mining gold sustainably, we give hope and opportunity to thousands of people each and every day. Sustainability at Harmony can be defined as the creation of long-term value through the production of safe, profitable ounces, ensuring we leave an enduring and positive legacy wherever we operate. Proactive safety and healthcare strategies ensure we maintain and build on the trust developed in our host communities, while our ethical practices ensure we maintain our social license to operate. We pursue continual improvement in areas such as water management, climate and energy, emissions, as well as land rehabilitation and biodiversity. By integrating and embedding these tenets of our culture, values, and leadership, we continually address and strengthen our delivery on key sustainability targets. It is through our actions that we deliver true integrated ESG practices and positive shareholder returns. Sustainable investing within Harmony has a long history. Although ESG has evolved considerably in recent decades, we have always recognized the importance of corporate sustainability, ensuring each of our decisions leave a lasting, positive impact. We place considerable emphasis on human capital, human rights, environmental issues, supply chain management, corporate governance, and other issues material to Harmony. The key message to consider today is that we approach ESG through our sustainable development strategy. Integrated and risk-based decision-making is the premise behind how we weigh up our capital allocation decisions. This ensures we meet all the demands of our stakeholders while still creating value through our mining operations. The launch of the United Nations Social Development Goals in 2015 saw a global shift towards true sustainability. Endorsed by 193 countries, the SDGs address topics including poverty, hunger, health, education, climate change, gender equality, water, sanitation, energy, environment, and social justice. We have explicitly and proactively addressed the SDGs by identifying our material issues and reporting how we make a difference. This was a natural progression within Harmony through a diligent internal process, guided by the Global Reporting Initiative, or GRI, and informed by our Enterprise Risk Management Framework. We have identified and prioritized 6 SDGs that are directly aligned to our core business strategy and our 4 strategic pillars. These SDGs are good health and well-being, gender equality, decent work and economic growth, responsible production and consumption, climate change, and life on land. We have also identified an additional 4 SDGs to which we can meaningfully contribute through our sustainable development strategy and also by developing our socio-economic development benefits. These are no poverty, zero hunger, quality education, and sustainable cities and communities. The key to our corporate integration of the SDGs lies in the ability to prioritize and understand the ESG risks specific to Harmony and manage our material risks according to the respective SDGs aligned to our business. Embedded ESG, or sustainable practices, mean we understand and acknowledge the vital role that we play ensuring our employees return home safely each and every day. Addressing climate change, ending poverty, managing the use of our scarce resources such as water, land, and biodiversity are critical. The key sustainable development themes must be addressed alongside our integrated approach to risk. As we address these themes, we have to be cognizant of emerging risks such as carbon pricing and the management of water. We have to consider each of the themes as they relate to the potential business risk and the impact each theme will have from a sustainability perspective. We understand that every country is different, each presenting a unique operating environment and set of challenges. Our reliance on fossil fuel in South Africa is considered alongside our net zero carbon aspirations, in that there are limited alternatives to supply the baseload power we require. The well-being and livelihoods of so many is dependent on the South African power utility Eskom. So we are committed to a good corporate citizenship, supporting South Africa while preparing for a greener future. The nature of mining in South Africa is labor-intensive, and we know that through our operations we give hope to so many. During the COVID pandemic, our preventative and mitigating procedures have ensured that we have our stakeholders' best interests at heart. Our sustainable objective is to deliver meaningful triple bottom line results on the people, the planet, and profit. The scale of our business and the sphere of our influence means true sustainability is embedded in everything we do. It is for this reason that responsible stewardship forms the first of our 4 strategic pillars. We are here today to discuss and unpack our ESG, or sustainable strategy, and share with you how we balance profit and purpose, thus delivering triple bottom line results. Our approach to ESG is that the E, the S, and the G are interlinked. We have illustrated the progress we have made and continue to make on our journey as a sustainable and impactful emerging market mining specialist. Today's discussion will allow our executives to address each of their areas of responsibility as they relate to ESG and sustainability. I will be asking our various ExCo members questions, and they will then address what they believe to be the most important components of our ESG strategy. There will be 2 short breaks, a 10-minute break after Peter and Melanie have spoken, and another 10-minute break before we go into our Q&A session. Please don't forget to post your questions to the respective executives via the messaging platform. At Harmony, we operate and mine in a responsible way, and our mining operations leave a long-lasting positive societal impact and contribution. This is the real footprint we leave behind. I would like to hand over to our CEO, Peter Steenkamp, to discuss what Harmony is doing from a safety and health perspective, after which the various other executives will unpack our approach to sustainable mining.
Thank you, Jared, and thank you for the introduction today. Today's theme, Who Cares Wins, really holds true for our approach to sustainability. For the past 70 years, Harmony has more than any other mining company in South Africa demonstrated true sustainability. Through our various operations and down-to-earth approach of doing business, we have created wins for all our stakeholders. We have created longevity of our mining operations, extracting maximum value over a longer life of mine. Through our role as responsible corporate citizen, we grow and develop our people and assets, providing sustainable value to all our stakeholders. Gold's unquestionable enduring value has served this company and all of its stakeholders well over the past 70+ years. Mining is a risk-laden business, both internally and externally. Through awareness and good understanding of all these risks, we can implement mitigating initiatives to ensure our successes and sustainability. For this reason, we adopted the Harmony Risk Management Strategy in 2018. The ultimate objective of this is to embed a culture of risk awareness in each and every one of our employees and to achieve safe, profitable production at all our operations in South Africa and Papua New Guinea. Our risk management strategy is essentially a 4-layered approach to identify, assess and control all hazards and risks that could impact our ability to achieve safe and profitable production. The structure of this 4-layered approach can be seen in the following images on our screen. By fully understanding each of these factors in our operating environments, we can manage the effects of these risks and position Harmony for a better and more sustainable future. Jared mentioned that we take an integrated approach to ESG. My colleagues will share more on our plans and targets on various aspects of E, S and G, and how these guides our sustainable development strategy. Our focus this morning will be on the most important assets, our people, and particularly on the safety and health. Safety and health are one of Harmony's 5 values and are without any doubt the most important priority to us. We started our safety journey in 2016, and zero loss of life is a non-negotiable objective. We firmly believe it is achievable and will make every effort to ensure that our colleagues arrive home safely every day. We have put incredible resources into embedding a proactive culture of safety throughout Harmony. We learn from our successes and our failures. We keep each other accountable and honest. We cry together when we lose a life, and we celebrate when we achieve record-breaking safety statistics. It remains a journey, one we will call humanistic transformation, or Tibakotsi, which means to prevent harm in Sesotho. We are now in phase 2 of our journey. This humanistic transformation journey is about understanding the importance of one another and embracing the ideas that humans cannot exist in isolation. We depend on connection, community and caring. In other words, we cannot operate without each other. This philosophy requires a conscious shift in how we think about ourselves and others. Through our Tibakotsi journey, we are embedding the philosophy of I am because we are in the hearts and minds and hands of all employees through various initiatives. These include the following humanistic transformation initiatives: risk propensity assessments, Tibakotsi team training, learning from incidents or LFIs, our leadership development program, visible felt leadership, and golden control compliance, and employee engagement tactics, including culture survey, value surveys, and the recognition program. Achieving our safety goals will ultimately contribute to our delivering on our business objectives and ensuring continued success and sustainability of our business. As management, we are also committed to delivering on these 5 strategic imperatives: passionate leadership, resilience management systems, effective risk management, organizational learning, and ensuring an engaged workforce. As mentioned earlier, risk management is integrated across all our business functions, and it's essential that every employee is aware of the surrounding risks at all times. Each Harmonite is expected to adopt the stop, look, assess, and manage, or SLAM approach at all times. While this will go a long way towards achieving our ultimate safety goals, we are also implementing many other initiatives to drive improvements in safety and health. These include the further rollout of steel nets, the withdrawal of crews from unsafe areas, rock engineering walkabouts, and improved support systems to address fall of ground and seismicity. Electronic winch signaling and locomotive driver information systems to improve safety on winches and rail-bound equipment. Missing person locators which monitor no-go zones, FaceTime improvement, and movement of crews to workplaces via underground Wi-Fi network. This let us know exactly where our people are at all times. Real-time dash monitors and in-stope atomizers. Improved tracking and controls around hazards. We commence tracking as soon as a hazard is identified and monitor to ensure a closed-loop process to control and eliminate risks. And bottom-up training and active engagements between managers and employees at all plants. We have set up call centers at operations to help inform and assist our teams in reacting to any safety issues, while daily miners' work notes and reports on seismic and workplace ratings ensure everyone is aware of any potential risks. To digitizing many of the paper and email reports, the various teams underground have access to single report and safety hazards in a working place, highlighting the actions that are required to address these, allocating corrective tasks to the right people, ensuring that they are addressed and working areas are ultimately declared safe. Through digitization, reports which used to be emailed or printed and circulated were often not read, have been all done away with. This has resulted in meaningful discussions amongst the various mining disciplines involved in risk assessment. Repetitive incidents are highlighted in these reports and people are held accountable. Communicating the importance of safety and health is ongoing, and regular communications initiatives ensure that we equip Harmonites to think before they act. This also allows us to communicate why we do what we do to improve safety and health. We are appointing risk managers, doing triple verification checks, and implementing visuals of global best practice guides throughout our operations. We are continually improving our engineering safe operating models, or SOMs as we call it, as we strive towards zero harm whilst at the same time reducing complexity, upskilling employees, and ensuring compliance at all times. In addition to our operating safety initiatives, our dedicated health teams continue to be proactive and agile in dealing with COVID pandemic, despite the country entering its third wave. Our testing rates are well ahead of the national and industry rates, and due to our effective operating procedures and response, we currently have only 69 active cases. We are preparing for our health centers to be accredited by the Department of Health, and phase 2 has already begun. Employees will be prioritized based on age, comorbidities, and when they are actually registered on the system. We are actively communicating to all our staff throughout the vaccination program the benefits of and the processes involved in getting vaccinated. We have set up hotlines and education centers, and we look to our union to help drive a high take-up of the vaccine. We are committed to playing an active role in accelerating the vaccine programs across the mines and host communities. In fact, I received my COVID jab last month as part of our vaccine rollout, and I encourage everyone to register and to play a part in overcoming this pandemic. Of course, employees have the right to choose whether or not to be vaccinated. This will continue to prioritize our other healthcare initiatives, such as preventive care, fatigue management, nutrition, as well as those initiatives relating to occupational and lifestyle diseases. Through all of this, it is evident how crucial it is for the Harmonites' personal values are aligned with the Harmony values and culture. We run regular safety awareness campaigns throughout the company to further assist in the adoption of risk management as a way of life. A number of our mines have recorded some significant milestones during the third quarter of FY21, including Kalgold, which achieved 3.75 million fatality-free shifts, and Moab Khotsong, Doornkop and Mponeng mines, all of which achieved 1 million fatality-free shifts. And these milestones highlight the progress made through the pursuit of proactive safety culture. These milestones are recognized throughout the company and emphasize the importance of people and the role they play within Harmony. While we are not yet achieving the safety results proportional to the efforts we are putting in, we are indeed seeing an improvement at our operations, and our safety numbers are trending in the right direction. The progress we have made reflects in our total injury and accident frequency rate, which have improved over the past decade and is now at 7.69 per million hours worked, as we strive towards our goal of 0 injuries and loss of life. A safe mine is a productive mine. Crews that adhere to safety protocols are also crews that delivered on their operational plans. The journey of engagement, training, awareness, learning, and caring continues and remains of paramount importance. We remain committed to achieving our objective of 0 loss of life and remain steadfast in striving for an embedded safety culture and empathy throughout Harmony. As a champion of the South African gold mining industry, our vision is to operate the safest, most effective mines. The combination of an engaged workforce and more connected working environment will drive performance. The result will be greater shared value in the lives of our people, our communities, and other stakeholders. Our value creation journey is an iterative process that is guided by our strategic imperatives, taking cognizance of our stakeholders in line with our corporate governance principles and processes, and underpinned by the goal of sustainability. Jared, I will hand over to you now and the rest of the team to share more about these topics.
Thanks so much, Peter. Next up, I'll be talking to Harmony's Group Executive for Sustainable Development, Melanie Naidi-Vermaak. Melanie, as the person guiding Harmony's sustainable development strategy, please share more about the journey so far and where you see the journey taking us.
Thanks, Jared. So the principles of sustainable development are embedded in our business strategy, business processes, and decision-making, integrating into Harmony DNA. And it comes from our appreciation of the onus on us as a company, coupled to our personal commitment to care for both Earth and our neighbours. Sustainable development is covered by the first pillar of our strategy, responsible stewardship, which underpins our operating philosophy, which is profit with purpose and hinges on maintaining strong relationships by encouraging and engaging collaboration with stakeholders. Our responsibilities as a corporate citizen, as environmental stewards, and to live our values remain top of mind. Responsible stewardship is a result of everything we do at Harmony. Responsible stewardship supports our aim to produce safe, profitable ounces and entails our being mindful of the impacts of our business activities on the countries that we operate in, our employees, host communities, and environment. It calls for us to have in place plans to limit, manage, and mitigate these impacts. But it's only through engagement and partnerships that we're able to continue mining gold responsibly and sustainably. We are actively implementing the key tenets of our risk-adjusted sustainable development framework to create a better Harmony for all, from building our portfolio of assets to increasing safe, profitable ounces to managing and mitigating our water and climate risks, as our embedded and proactive safety and healthcare strategies ensure that we continue to build trust in the communities in which we operate. We have implemented and developed the necessary controls and systems based on relevant ISO standards to ensure the safety of our people and the public while mitigating any risk to communities, business, and the environment. We have standardized processes, Jared, and definitions, embedding these in our culture and values and in our approach to leadership. The next 5 years, we aim to strengthen our delivery on key sustainable development indicators and the sustainable development targets as they apply to our business. And I believe that our efforts have had a pronounced impact on both our business, our license to operate, and our environmental performance. The days of simply complying are just long gone, and we understand the benefits of managing risk-based, integrated decisions that create value for all stakeholders. Jared, you know that a responsible company is a profitable company, and the world has taken notice. I think we've seen it in the performance we've achieved in our carbon disclosure and water disclosure projects over the years.
It's wonderful to see the external recognition that Harmony has received. How does Harmony deliver on the various components of sustainable development strategy?
Our sustainable development strategy is an all-encompassing risk-based strategy, one in which all the components of the business are considered and the various capitals are weighed up against each other, something that Boipelo will talk to you about today. An integrated approach that informs integrated thinking, having considered all possible risks and opportunities, are what drives our approach to sustainable development. While my focus today will be on the environmental component of our sustainable development strategy, I will also touch on our preferential procurement and social and labor plans as they relate to our sustainable development strategy. My colleagues will share Harmony's plans and targets for the other components. Important to highlight is that policies, procedures, board oversight, reporting and accountability for what we do and how we do it, of course, all fall within the G of ESG. It is paramount when assessing Harmony that you remember that the E, S, and G should never be viewed on their own. They are all linked together to form the sustainability framework we've been talking about. So let's talk about our environmental strategy, which consists of the following tenets. These areas are the ones where we believe we have the greatest risk exposure and are viewed as the most material. Our operations exemplify global best practice for the minimization and, where feasible, elimination of adverse environmental impacts. We've institutionalized sound environmental management practices, systems, and processes aimed at systematically reducing our environmental risk exposure whilst leveraging and optimizing opportunities where they exist. Various sustainable development guidelines and frameworks are applied at Harmony, some of which was discussed in your introduction, Jared. Needless to say, but we have selected the ones that we believe are most applicable to our business operation in South Africa and Papua New Guinea. Apart from guidelines and frameworks, we work hard on ensuring transparency through disclosure. And to that end, our first carbon disclosure report was submitted in 2007, highlighting our climate and water-related performance. For several years, we received excellent ratings on both. Last year, we published our first Task Force for Climate-Related Financial Disclosure, or TCFD report, which is a more profound reflection of the interface between climate change impacts and the financial well-being of our company. I do encourage the audience to visit our report. This journey from 2007 until today can be seen here, and it also just highlights the achievements and progress we've made around climate change and water management.
Globally, climate change is viewed as critical to any sustainable development strategy. Can you help us understand how Harmony views and addresses climate change?
Right. So, Jared, as a mining business predominantly focused on the extraction of ore from deep-level mines, Harmony is fully aware that our activities have a material impact on the surrounding environment and the communities with whom we share this environment. Our most material impact, at least that which will have the most lingering effect, is the emission of greenhouse gases, which is a significant contributing factor to global warming. Our greenhouse gas emissions are primarily the product of the electricity we consume in the mining and the processing of the gold. This is particularly true of our operations in South Africa, which rely on electricity generated from coal-fired power stations. Over many years, Harmony has prioritized the objective of making our operations far more energy efficient so as to reduce our consumption of fossil fuel-generated energy and thereby to limit our emissions of greenhouse gases. Our efficiency program sees us celebrate a major milestone in the coming weeks, where we would have banked 1 billion savings over the last 5 years. This translates to about 1.2 million tons equivalent of CO2 reduction. Apart from efficiency, we are working on diversifying our energy mix to support our drive towards carbon neutrality. In PNG, 69% of our Hidden Valley operation is powered by hydropower. And in South Africa, we're sourcing our first 30 megawatts of solar for our operations in the Free State province. We also have an ambitious pipeline of renewables at various stages of development. While our priority focus in the short to medium term is certainly on how to continue using resources in a responsible manner and reducing our carbon footprint, looking further into the future, the more serious question is what impacts climate change will have on our business.
Can you tell us a bit more about the energy and climate change policy and strategy at Harmony, and what opportunities have been identified?
Our energy efficiency and climate change policy guidelines set out to improve energy efficiency, reduce consumption, optimize capital investment in energy efficiency projects, to reduce environmental effects and greenhouse gas emissions, and to conserve natural resources and reduce Harmony's carbon footprint. As part of our sustainable development strategy, it is imperative that we enhance our understanding of the sources, the scope and extent of greenhouse gas emissions associated with our operations. We are optimizing our energy and carbon resource efficiency and identifying opportunities to improve our energy mix whilst progressing energy management systems to support our operations. Harmony promotes the efficient use of renewable and non-renewable carbon sources, while technological advancement and innovation will further assist in the reduction of emissions. We encourage all our employees, suppliers, and contractors to conserve energy through campaigns and stakeholder participation. We are also engaging with the government in the development of policies and strategies to address and promote energy efficiency and greenhouse gas reductions. These strategies, combined with our top-down and integrated risk-based approach towards climate change, have resulted in significant progress towards lowering our emissions and managing our energy and water usage as we proactively address climate change. We have recognized the opportunities relating to operational efficiencies, greenhouse gas emissions, and water use optimization as we move towards a more efficient operating model. Innovative climate adaptation programs such as our biogas energy project and solar energy production in areas which cannot be used for food production could contribute significantly towards renewable energy production in South Africa, enabling further growth and jobs in the sector. Various agricultural projects are all combining towards making a positive change and helping us transition towards a low-carbon economy. We are also very aware of the importance of copper as a new energy metal, which is why we have positioned ourselves to take advantage of this global trend and remain committed to our Wafi-Golpu project. This Tier 1 copper-gold asset will enable us to supply the low-carbon market and position Harmony as an emerging market mining specialist. In addition, we also now hold two very scarce and strategic resources through Margaret Water and Covalent.
And Melanie, how are we addressing our energy needs and emissions given the nature of Harmony's business?
With a sizable portion of our portfolio being deep-level underground operations and consequently energy intensive, and by extension a significant emissions emitter, energy efficiency and climate change is considered a material risk for Harmony from a financial and an environmental perspective. Apart from the direct impact of rising electricity costs, as well as carbon pricing impacting our margins, our climate change risks extend to future operating costs and infrastructure requirements, operating conditions, and indeed may also impact the health and well-being of employees and host communities. Managing our carbon footprint remains paramount to our business, and our approach is really threefold. Firstly, we aim to reduce consumption and improve efficiencies, thereby reducing greenhouse gases. Technologies being used to achieve this include real-time monitoring, simulations through digital twinning, equipment condition monitoring, and data analytics. The following charts illustrate how we have managed to improve our emissions intensities and how much carbon has been saved since 2016. This is important when considering our growth aspirations and what we've achieved since 2016. Secondly, we want to diversify our energy mix with solar, a big consideration in South Africa, and hydro already featuring in our Papua New Guinean operation. Finally, it is our aim to further diversify our portfolio by growing our more energy-efficient surface sources, like that which we have achieved with the acquisition of Mineway Solutions and Hidden Valley. The acquisition of Mponeng and related assets has also had a significant positive impact on our climate change performance. Whilst Mponeng is a deep-level mine, Mineway Solutions is a high-volume surface tailings retreatment operation, which is less energy-intensive, whilst also helping eliminate and process surface sources. The combined result is a safer and more efficient Harmony, while we still have managed to grow our ounces.
What progress has been made around reducing electricity intensity?
Well, since 2009, we have made significant progress in reducing our energy intensity, or kilowatt-hour tons treated. This has been done through energy savings initiatives, but also due to the increase in tons treated on the back of our recent acquisitions and sizable surface source business. To date, we've implemented more than 200 energy efficiency initiatives at our various operations, which yielded savings of an estimated 1 billion rands.
Melanie, the President recently announced a significant shift in the amount of electricity that can be self-generated to 100 megawatts. You've touched on the sourcing of 30 megawatts on solar power for SA operations. To what extent will renewables form part of the energy mix in the future? And can you perhaps speak a little bit more about the solar power plans?
Harmony embarked on a renewable energy journey in 2017, where the decision was taken to construct 3 10-megawatt solar plants in the Free State. This will be rolled out in 3 phases, and we are waiting for our licenses to be approved. Phase 1 construction is expected to commence this year. There is also the potential to augment supply with some wind power, provided we are able to wheel. Our aggressive renewables program will be supplemented by pipelines of energy efficiency projects.
What will the impact of carbon pricing be for Harmony?
The introduction of carbon tax regulations in South Africa is set to have significant cost impacts in the range of 70 to 80 million by 2023. It is for this reason we are implementing the various renewable energy and efficiency programs. If we do not act swiftly, we could see a potential impact of between 250 million to 350 million by 2030.
Can you please tell us about water management as it relates to our sustainability strategy?
Yes, water in South Africa is considered a scarce resource, Jared, particularly in the regions in which our operations are situated. So at Harmony, excess water is seen as an opportunity in waiting. At many of our underground operations, Harmony intercepts the aquifer to generate fissure water, which we then treat and use, thus liberating other fresh water supplies for other users in our society. At these operations, we maximize the use of underground water by treating it to meet quality standards and enable its use in our operations as we continue to pursue our goal of zero discharge. Harmony has constructed 3 water treatment plants that assist in continuing to secure water for operations, whilst also reducing water consumption and assisting with water conservation initiatives. These plants deliver a dual advantage in that we reduce our consumption and recycle much of our own fissure water while saving costs for the operation. The model works so well that we are considering the feasibility of an additional plant in the Free State, while work has started on plants in Orkney and Carltonville as well. With the recent acquisitions, we have operational control of Covalent Water, a business we're very excited to have in our fold and are keenly exploring opportunities to beneficiate and commercialize the scarce resource.
How is Harmony addressing the rehabilitation of land given the nature of mining, and what's required when a mine reaches the end of its life?
In financial year 20, together with the assistance of consultancy firm Digby Wells Environmental, we developed and began implementing a new rehabilitation strategy that aims to achieve a step change in our approach to rehabilitation. The main objectives of this new strategy include using land for carbon offset and biodiversity purposes where feasible, and in other instances for the cultivation of food that can be sold commercially. Managing vegetation planted on rehabilitation areas in a sustainable and environmentally sensitive manner. Devising and implementing projects in such a way that enhances socioeconomic benefits to host communities, particularly in terms of preferential procurement and enterprise and supplier development, and ensuring that rehabilitation underscores our social license to operate. Our philosophy has been active rehabilitation in the last few years, much of the focus being on shaft closures and plant cleanup. We have removed 49 sets of headgear in the past few years and invested in rehabilitation of mine-impacted land through successful phytoremediation programs. Through our land rehabilitation programs, we're able to remediate and restore mine-impacted land to ecological and especially agricultural value, to the extent that we will be advancing commercial agricultural ventures with partners of choice. We are also focusing on the rehabilitation of tailings dams through our surface source operations, where we plan to promote sequestration through carbon sinks, and biodiversity conservation as key themes.
What is being done to protect and promote biodiversity as it relates to sustainability?
Biodiversity is a key consideration and falls under our 6 core SDGs as we aim to protect, restore, and promote the sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, and to halt and reverse land degradation and biodiversity loss. Whilst we have a long history of reclaiming lands after mining, we know that further progress can be made. In 2016, we articulated our aspiration of achieving a net positive impact on biodiversity in areas affected by our business.
There's a growing global scrutiny about tailings surface facilities, or TSFs. Can you elaborate on how Harmony manages tailings facilities and what benefits the surface source business brings in terms of the environment and the communities?
Jared, Harmony currently has 85 tailing storage facilities under management in both South Africa and Papua New Guinea. These consist of 24 operational facilities, 10 remining facilities, and 51 dormant and inactive facilities. 19 of our operational facilities are constructed by means of upstream deposition, which incorporates a day wall and a basin deposition, and 5 facilities are constructed by means of upstream cyclone deposition. Our Hidden Valley operation consists of a downstream build with 2 cross-valley embankments forming the dam for the tails. Robust and meticulous engineering and dam design, along with a continual focus on management of risks and a layered assurance and oversight, ensures sustainable integrity, sustainability, environmental and legal compliance. These focus areas include, but are not limited to, your freeboard control, your water management, maintaining stability and the safety factor as advised by the engineer of record, erosion controls, and monitoring and control measures implemented to ensure continued compliance. We have regular inspections, audits, and meetings on varying intervals with subsequent actions, minutes, and reports, ensuring that we deliver the desired results. Our strategy is to ensure we implement global best practices where applicable, while standardization and compliance to the just mentioned focus areas is rolled out and implemented on all our assets.
What are the key differences to highlight between tailings facilities in South Africa and the rest of the world?
In South Africa, we construct a ring dike or a paddock-type tailings, which is not dependent on topographical depressions, as is the case with valley impoundments. We have to build our own surface dams, whilst in Papua New Guinea, the tailings from our Hidden Valley mine are stored in a natural valley. The embankments or walls of the paddock require large volumes of waste material in relation to the storage volume produced. This is due to increased wall lengths, which are built in order to contain the tailings. The main advantage to this layout is that surface runoff cannot inundate the tailings storage area. The water inside the tailings surface facility is either derived from our processes or from rainfall. This is why it's so important to monitor and implement rigorous freeboarding. A surface tailings facility using the upstream method requires the least amount of embankment fill material, but on each raise, the storage volume decreases. These walls are built using a method we refer to as day walling. This means the rate of rise of the embankment needs to increase to generate the same storage volume after each lift. Because of our lower rainfall and arid climate, very low seismicity and high volume operations, the ring dike or paddock system in South Africa is best suited and does not carry the same risks as some international upstream embankments. In addition, we recycle a substantial amount of water from our tailings dams for reuse at our mines and plants. As I mentioned, our Hidden Valley operation is a downstream build with 2 cross-valley embankments forming the dam for the tails. However, Hidden Valley features an advanced water management system, particularly at the tailings storage facility, which is something of a landmark as it is the first large facility of this kind to be operated successfully in Papua New Guinea. The world-class tailings storage facility was designed according to the Australian National Committee on Large Dams specification and stores tailings and wastewater before its reuse in the process plant or treatment and discharge to the environment.
Regarding the Wafi-Golpu project, Harmony announced that the environmental permit has been approved, but there's been a significant objection from the local government in the Morobe province to deep-sea tailings placement. Can you perhaps explain why DSTP is indeed the best option and what assurances you have?
Deep-sea tailings placement has been selected as the preferred tailings management option. The Wafi-Golpu project is expected to require placement for over 360 million tonnes of tailings over its 28-year life of mine. This decision was made on long-term safety, engineering, environmental, social, cultural, and economic considerations. Deep-sea tailings placement is presently adopted in 4 countries and is in effect at 3 operations within Papua New Guinea. Terrestrial tailings would not be ideal given the high seismicity, topography, the soil type of the region, and the high rainfall conditions experienced in that part of the world. Heritage sites, communities, and farming land could also be severely impacted by surface tailings facilities. From the image on your screen, you can see that the tailings are deposited in the Huon Gulf. This then mixes with the sediment from the various rivers and moves down towards the New Britain Trench, settling at a level around 9 kilometers deep, well below fishing waters. The level of tailings dilution will also meet PNG water quality criteria and Australian and New Zealand water quality guidelines for marine aquatic ecosystem protection.
Thanks, Melanie. It's comforting to see what is being done to manage these risks and to know that such emphasis and focus is being put on sustainability. You also mentioned that socio-economic component of Harmony's sustainable development strategy. Can you discuss how this too is embedded in Harmony's strategic objectives?
Jared, our socio-economic strategy ensures that we create trust with all our employees, host communities, and government, which my colleagues will share more information on. Responsible stewardship is one of our strategic pillars and forms the foundation upon which our socio-economic activities are built. It is through our connectedness value with our communities that we strive to stimulate social and economic growth. Even though social and labor plans are a prerequisite for mining rights, working with our communities and forging lasting partnerships has always been core to our operating model. Our Sustainable Development Framework is aligned to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Through these partnerships, we are going beyond what is simply required from a compliance perspective. We ensure our activities drive economic growth, allowing communities to survive and thrive long after our operations have ceased. We aim to improve people's lives and contribute towards community development. We have committed to spending no less than 1% of net profit after tax towards community and enterprise development, but we have many other initiatives which are adding so much more to communities. Some examples of the project which are currently underway include the Virginia Sports Academy, where we invested $7 million towards the development of talented, previously disadvantaged youth from the local community. This project has made a significant impact in the lives of the talented youth and the 20 people employed here since 2003. In fact, Jared, our Springbok 7-star, Siabelo Sinatla, is a proud product of the Virginia Sports Academy, where he developed his talent and rugby skills from a young age. We have developed youth business corners and business centers to assist job creation and business development. We have invested over 21 million in these initiatives, which are currently underway in Matjhabeng in the Free State and near our other operations in Carltonville, Doornkop, and Kusasa operations. We've also invested over 13 million rand towards infrastructure development in Witban in the Free State, which will assist the municipality in pumping water into the Sand River, benefiting all stakeholders in the region. The total financial commitment for community development for this 5-year SLP is 268 million, and we focus primarily on the following 4 areas, as we believe these can affect the greatest change: the youth and the SMME development, agriculture, infrastructure, and information and communication technology.
What is Harmony doing when it comes to the mining charter and preferential procurement?
Our social license to operate is governed by the Mining Charter and existing social and labour plans, and focuses on Black economic empowerment, providing procurement opportunities to small and medium-sized Black-owned businesses. Our preferential procurement strategy has resulted in the success of many SMMEs in and around our host communities. We revisited our preferential procurement strategy in early 2019 to encourage and ensure full compliance across all areas of procurement. Mining Charter 3 emphasizes the need to increase the inclusion of historically disadvantaged persons, women and youth in procurement opportunities. This is in addition to Mining Charter 2 requirements to spend on Black economic empowered compliant businesses. As you can see from the graph, Harmony's discretionary spend and spend with more than 25 to 30% and 51% Black-owned businesses has increased significantly over the last 5 years. We plan to keep on with this trajectory going forward. In our efforts to connect more with businesses in host communities, Harmony has held Supplier Engagement Day since 2018. This initiative has proved so successful that since January 2019, Harmony has created and paid 166 new vendors with spend totaling some 202 million rands. Yeah. While the aim of these supplier days in FY19 was to introduce Harmony to local suppliers in our host communities, supplier days in FY20 progressed to the second stage of our theme-based approach and focused on introducing our preferential procurement strategy and environmental, sustainability and governance framework to our local business partners. We have also used this as a platform to discuss partnerships, opportunities, contracting opportunities, and most importantly, how women and youth-owned companies can participate. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has disrupted this initiative, which we plan to resume again in future.
What other important social considerations are there when it comes to implementing a sustainable socio-economic development strategy?
In addition to the things mentioned, we are promoting transparency around gender, race, and inclusivity, as well as board diversity. We have a gender diversity policy and have a firm commitment to our Women in Mining program, as well as Indigenous rights, children's rights, and skills development and employment opportunities for local communities, both in South Africa and Papua New Guinea. Sustainable development is in our DNA, and we are going above and beyond to ensure we maintain our social license to operate. We are confident that because we have such an integrated approach to sustainability, our business and indeed all our stakeholders will benefit from our enduring legacy. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the insights, Melanie. We will now take a 10-minute break, after which our team will be back for the second part of today's presentation. Welcome back. In the second part of today's presentations, we will be hearing from Mashego, Anton Buthelezi, Shalom Mahatla, and finally, Boipelo Lekubo. The social aspect of ESG encompasses so many dynamics, especially given our current South African and Papua New Guinean jurisdictions, where stakeholder relations are of utmost importance. I'll now discuss the importance of our communities and stakeholder engagement with Harmony's Executive Director for Corporate Affairs, Mashego. Mashego, can you tell us why stakeholder engagement is so important, and more so about Harmony's approach to stakeholder engagement, particularly with our host communities?
Thanks, Jared. Harmony believe it is crucial to build trust and maintain positive relationships with all its stakeholders, be it with our host communities, our suppliers and business partners, our national and local governments, our investors and shareholders, our industry peers, or local and international media. Our approach is aimed at partnering with our stakeholders, creating a win-win situation. Stakeholder engagement is the principal mechanism through which Harmony manages and addresses a wide range of expectations and perceptions. Through proactive engagement, we are able to identify, prioritize, and better manage any potential material socio-economic risks and opportunities. The issues and concerns raised by communities are addressed through the established community forums in our multiple host communities. The forums are in constant engagement with our dedicated stakeholder engagement managers and corporate affairs team. These community forums consist of representatives from the municipalities, traditional authorities, the local business forums, as well as the landowners forums in Papua New Guinea. The purpose of these forums is to share information with communities on progress being made on project implementation, to establish their needs and expectations, and to try manage their perceptions of what Harmony can deliver or should be expected to deliver. This initiative has had a largely positive impact on our community stakeholder engagement and has helped to promote a better understanding of the community issues and concerns, a lot of which relate to unemployment, especially of the youth, and the business opportunities. Last year, Harmony launched an incubation program for businesses in our host communities in South Africa. Specifically, we were targeting 100% Black-owned, women-owned, and youth-owned businesses for the supply of products and services in the areas on the screen. The program was well received, with Harmony getting 106 applicants. 34 were ultimately being approved for the full 3-year incubation program. Harmony's health department also supports the broader company's strategy for targeted enterprise supplier development by providing opportunities for companies that are from the host communities to participate economically in the operations. The past 3 years have seen some major contracts being reorganized to include previously disadvantaged groups. This includes incubation, mentoring, guiding, and ensuring the companies are set up for success by providing adequate support. This is at the core of Harmony's health strategy, which involves providing quality, affordable healthcare to the employees whilst ensuring there is a broader impact to the community.
How does Harmony communicate with its many stakeholders? And what communication tools or channels do you utilize to reach such a large audience?
Our communications function ensures that all internal and external communication for the company is consistent. Within these areas, we develop communication strategies and implement plans to increase awareness and recognition of the organization among our stakeholders. Our corporate affairs and investor relation teams share the roles depending on which stakeholder is being engaged. Internally, we use a multi-layered approach, making use of various channels such as face-to-face or personal communication, including mass meetings and staff meetings, broadcast communications, including commercial DJs, as well as audiovisuals and videos shown on TV screens in our operations underground, mobile communications like SMSs and the Harmony Connect mobile app, electronic communications, including the internet and intranet, email for briefs, memos and emailers, and social media. And then written methods like posters, notice boards for briefs, memos, emailers, and pay slips. Externally, we rely on our corporate website as a source of information. And we also communicate via media releases and SENS announcements sent via the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, TV and radio. This would be both local and national, print media and industry-related publications. We also send out emailers to our dynamic database, which comprises of investors, analysts, shareholders, news wires, and other mainstream media. We also have social media pages on various platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube channel. Similarly, in Papua New Guinea, we engage continuously with all stakeholders, including employees, contractors, and national, provincial, and local governments, as well as landowners and regulators. Our Hidden Valley Facebook was launched last year at the start of the lockdown and has been a huge success as a platform for engagement with our various Papua New Guinean stakeholders. The public can register via our corporate website to receive all company announcements and press releases.
What is the company's strategy for creating sustainable shared value in host communities?
We understand that the dynamics and the needs of communities are ever evolving, and so any meaningful and sustainable socio-economic development we pioneer and implement requires far more than a one-dimensional approach. Our approach to socio-economic development is multifaceted, and our projects implemented include infrastructure, education and skills development, job creation and entrepreneurial development, enhancing broad-based local and community economic empowerment and enterprise development initiatives, facilitating socio-economic development in local communities by means of our social and labor plans called SLPs, and our corporate social responsibility programs support arts, culture, sports, recreation, and early childhood development, and building relationships based on trust with our host communities, the basis of which must be transparent dialogue and the delivery of mutually agreed promises.
Harmony has sustained communities for decades through jobs as well as community projects. Mashego, could you perhaps share some more detail on recent projects and tell us about the community trust that was established?
Harmony once again showed compassion and care with the outbreak of COVID-19 in 2020, when South Africa practically came to a standstill due to the hard lockdown. It was an unprecedented time in the history of the mining industry and our country and the rest of the world. The health and safety of our people took precedence, and as such, we made decisions that ensured the continued viability of our company and its stakeholders, thus further demonstrating that Harmony has a positive impact. Harmony was at the forefront of delivering food parcels, washable face masks, and care kits to all our host communities in Gauteng, Free State, and the Northwest. In addition, 9 local historically disadvantaged suppliers were empowered through procurement of these essential items. Similar work was also conducted in Papua New Guinea, and much of this continues as we speak. During the year, other communities' initiatives included sponsoring of the 2020 Matric Excellence Awards in the Merafong, Mogale City and Lejweleputswa regions. Laptops and special bursaries were awarded to top matric performers in these regions. The Doornkop Phuthaditjhaba sewing project was another successfully implemented project. Doornkop Phuthaditjhaba caters for senior citizens based in an informal settlement in Doornkop. The elderly are involved in craft work and physical well-being activities. Also, a honey farming project was launched which involved 6 young unemployed people working together to produce honey from wild bees. The project has been operating on a small scale as a family project, selling honey to the community. The young entrepreneurs were supported with appropriate training and provided with necessary equipment and tools to run the project. These are just a few of the numerous projects that Harmony has been involved in throughout our various host communities. You also asked about the Community Trust. The Community Trust owns 5% of Tswelopele Beneficiation Operation, which is also known as Phoenix, a mine dump retreatment operation in the Free State, and has some 4.4 million Harmony preference shares. The Community Trust is involved in similar projects to the ones previously mentioned and was formed to properly govern funds allocated to projects. The primary source of funding are the dividends from the ownership of these shares. TBO pays out dividends twice a year. The preference shares pay 8.8 million rand each year for 10 years, starting in 2019 already. Thereafter, the preference shares will convert into ordinary Harmony shares. In addition to the dividend income, the trust also holds the shares as an asset and therefore has the option to sell them to raise funding. The trust has sold no shares so far.
Mashego, it seems clear that Harmony cares about its stakeholders and is working with them to ensure their voices are heard.
Absolutely. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the need for collective action, which revealed our interdependencies and also strengthened our relationships with one another. The quality of the relationships with stakeholders and how well these are managed affect our ability to deliver on our strategy. Improving the quality of these relationships protects our social license to operate, supports the success of our business strategy, and creates shared value for all our stakeholders. I thank you.
Fascinating insights there from Mashego. Now we're moving on to the human resources side of the business. To help us understand how Harmony maintains a progressive working environment for all employees, I'll be chatting with Anton Buthelezi, our Executive for Human Resources. Anton, as Harmony's Executive for Human Resources, please share with us what the company does to develop employees.
Thanks, Gerard, for the question. The success of our business is ultimately determined by the health, safety, and productivity of our employees. We respect and value our human capital as one of our most important assets, and we strive to maintain a sound, trusting relationship with employees. In addition to our health and safety initiatives, we also have in place all the mechanisms to ensure our people are equipped with the right skills which are required to achieve our strategic objectives. Our occupational health and safety policy and related management frameworks are aligned with various legislation in both South Africa and Papua New Guinea. Our programs are designed to equip new employees from the communities with the skills needed to add meaningful value to our business. These programs include, but are also not limited to, these core mining training, such as winch operators, rock drill operators, local operators, and team leader training for our category 4 to 8 employees. We also offer programs that assist selected learner miners with requisite skills, knowledge to secure rock-breaking certificates through the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. Once a certificate is completed, these miners become eligible to be appointed as shift bosses on the operations. We had 52 of these learner miners who achieved their rock-breaking certificate in financial year 2020. There are also various learnerships in engineering discipline, which basically target electrician, fitters, riggers, boiler makers, instrumentation technicians, and mining technical support. Other programs on offer include the government certificate of competency, specifically for miners and mining officials. We also have a leadership development program and also an engineering foreman development program. Our study assistant program also allows employees to pursue relevant qualifications via any registered tertiary institution in the country. In financial year 2020, about 95% of our staff in South Africa, both working underground and on surface, attended training and skills development programs, which amounted to 458 million rand, or 29 million US dollars. This included South African-based research and development initiatives in exploration, mining, processing, technology efficiency, beneficiation, and environmental conservation. The historical underinvestment in technical training facilities in Papua New Guinea has resulted in considerable lack of adequate technical skills needed for the mining sector. As a result, our employee training initiatives there predominantly focus on providing local employees with skills required for our Hidden Valley operations. They also focus on career path training to advance skill set of our employees. Our training initiatives encompass the following areas: production and non-production skills training, safety compliance, professional development, computer software, and supervisor and managerial development programs. All these training initiatives are accredited with the National Training Accreditation Authority. In financial year 2020, 1,570 employees in Papua New Guinea attended training and skills development programs, which amounted to 24 million rand, or 2 million US dollars. We also have safety-related training, which directly address safety and risk management. Some of the interventions that are used include hazard identification, risk assessment, and the stop, look, assess, and manage SLAM approach.
There's no doubt that COVID-19 had an impact on its employees, as well as host communities and local business. How has the pandemic affected Harmony?
Yeah, Gerard, Harmony, like all other companies, face a very difficult task of sustaining itself in severely disrupted business environment. In the face of all these challenges, Harmony embarked on some cash preservation measures, some of which included stopping all capital expenditure. Our focus during the hard lockdown last year was to really try to produce as much as we can where we were allowed to operate, to take advantage of the high commodity prices environment. This allowed us to still generate cash, and more importantly, to sustain employment in the midst of a global pandemic that has never been seen in 100 years. Our standard operating procedure proved to be successful in how we manage the pandemic, and these measures are still in place as we speak now. Harmony started its preparatory work for the vaccine rollout in February 2021. The company will be providing vaccination opportunities to all its employees, their families, as well as the surrounding communities via its vaccination sites. The vaccination program is aligned with the government principles and prioritization. The company has established 4 mass vaccination sites and 2 pharmacies which have received their permits to store vaccines. The sites will be able to vaccinate about 400 to 700 people per day. The company has registered the following sites as vaccination sites on the master facility list, and that is the Moab Khotsong, Mponeng, Pakisa, Tsepong, and the Harmony Plant 5 residents. We have already seen about 341 out of 422 of our target population of our healthcare workers who have since been vaccinated. And we are in the process of vaccinating our employees over the age of 60. Our very own CEO, Peter Stenkamp, has since received his vaccination. Congratulations, Peter. Harmony offers a psychosocial program to all our employees in partnership with Reality Wellness Group. The program is accessible to all Harmony employees, including immediate family members, in an effort to address psychosocial ills affecting employees. The service includes telephonic advice by qualified social workers and psychologists, and also we do a face-to-face counseling, and also do a financial guidance and legal support to our employees. The service is available 24 hours per day in all official languages. The program created focus groups to support some of our healthcare workers during the pandemic. The newly acquired Mponeng operation is utilizing a similar service called Employee Wellness Program.
What is Harmony's approach to diversity and inclusion, particularly when it comes to women in mining?
At Harmony, we support our women and encourage their development and ultimately their success. We believe the industry can and should support women in their careers, and we certainly have made a positive contribution in ensuring diversity and inclusion at all levels in the company. We believe that an increase in diversity results in improved productivity, better engagement, reduced staff turnover, and shared perspective, just to name a few. The value that each one of us brings from our different life experiences is key to integrated thinking and promoting the ESG agenda. Harmony has one universal salary scale that does not discriminate in terms of gender, race, or any other arbitral ground, as well as various policies promoting equal opportunity in the company. In financial year 2019, a gender diversity strategy to improve women representation in management was rolled out. This strategy sets out specific annual targets for the proportional representation of women in management. Harmony has made great strides in advancing women leadership within the company and has 28% historical disadvantage female representation at board level, 33% at executive level, and 27% at senior managerial level as at October 2020. The representation of historical disadvantaged persons in all managerial positions increased to 64% in financial year 2020 from 62% as it was previously the case. Our inclusion for 3 consecutive years in the Bloomberg Gender Equality Index is indicative of the strides we are making towards equality, diversity, and inclusion. We believe that ethical conduct is inherently the right thing to do, and this is evident in our behavioral code and code of conduct. These principles are obvious and universal and have as their prime focus on honesty, integrity, and respect for all people, regardless of their age, race, sexual orientation, culture, and gender.
Thanks, Anton. I've certainly experienced how connected people are at Harmony since joining the company. Which brings me to our next topic, human rights. What's Harmony's stance when it comes to human rights?
Respect for human rights is entrenched in and underpins our values. We as a company believe in ethical conduct at all times. We acknowledge the constitutions and laws of the countries in which we operate as the supreme laws of those countries. While we uphold the United Nations Global Compass principles on human rights and labor rights, human rights are specifically catered for in our human resources policies and contracts of employment. We are guided by and have adopted the principles of International Council on Mining and Metals, the United Nations Global Compact, and the voluntary principles on security and human rights. The human resources functions and community engagement managers closely monitor our human rights performance at operational level. As a member of the Minerals Council of South Africa, we subscribe to their membership compact, which is a mandatory code of ethical business conduct and its guiding principles.
Anton, the wage negotiations are around the corner. How has the engagement been with employees and the unions?
Yeah, Gerard, look, we provide work to about 46,000 employees, including contractors. Most of our employees reside in communities surrounding our operations, and our relationship with our employees and their representative trade unions are very good and constructive. We have regular and frequent communications which takes various forms, which include mass meetings, briefs, internet communication, newsletters, emails, internal broadcast. We also have an app that we use in the company, which we call the Harmony Connect app. We also conduct structured, formal, regular meetings with unions, and they are fully aware of what is happening within the company. There is a wide range of benefits available to our employees in both South Africa and Papua New Guinea, some of which include an employee share ownership scheme in South Africa, which was launched in February 2019. And we also promote home ownership by selling company-owned properties to employees at prices below the market value. In financial year 2020, about 109 company-owned properties were purchased by our employees. We have also improved accommodation and living conditions for our employees, such as single-room occupancy, which promotes privacy and is a basic constitutional right and one of the pillars upon which human dignity rests. Our employee relations and engagement processes will continue to focus on managing the impact and the fallout of COVID-19 pandemic and successful vaccine rollout. We will also be cognizant of other occupational diseases and improving our gender diversity profile. We look forward to a successful wage negotiation process this year, and we believe the outcome will be of benefit to all parties. I thank you.
Thanks, Anton, for providing us with a deeper understanding of Harmony's human resources policies and philosophy. Next up, I'm chatting to Shela Mahatla, our company secretary, about governance within Harmony and how we implement mitigating initiatives to ensure that the business is successful and sustainable. Shela, can you give us an overview of the board's oversight when it comes to risk and ESG as a whole?
Thanks, Jared. Good governance enables the board to pursue its vision effectively and underpins that vision with mechanisms for control and management of risk. The board, as you know, supports the definition of corporate governance as being the exercise of ethical and effective leadership towards the achievement of the following governance outcomes: ethical culture and responsible corporate citizenship, good performance and value creation, effective control and legitimacy. Harmony's board supports and oversees the company's short and long-term strategy with a key focus on environmental and social impacts, such as assessing management's approach to ESG matters against financial and operational performance, assessing regulatory compliance, providing greater disclosures to promote transparency, assessing the company's overall risk appetite and framework, thereby understanding the management of risks related to ESG, as well as overseeing management's messaging and stakeholder engagements. Our approach to risk management relies on the continuous monitoring of risk and related mitigation procedures and the adjustments of these when necessary. We have identified 5 material issues based on the nature of our business. The first is ensuring employee safety and health. The prevention of fatalities and workplace injuries is our apex material issue, and one that will always take precedence. The second is maintaining our social license to operate. My colleague Melanie has already touched on this. Ultimately, it's about establishing meaningful and lasting partnerships with our communities. Thirdly, responsible environmental stewardship is a non-negotiable. As Peter mentioned earlier, for the past 70 years, Harmony has, more than any other gold mining company in South Africa, demonstrated true sustainability. Fourth, instilling an enabling culture and empowered workforce is also crucial. Our employees receive ongoing training and skills development. Navigating political and regulatory uncertainty is the fifth material issue. We have seen the new Mining Charter 3 requirements and targets come through in the last few years. The debate around them continues. These are the 5 material risks that we have identified as Harmony. We do, however, believe that the good stakeholder relations we have enjoyed for many years will assist us in navigating these issues and ultimately lead to mutually beneficial outcomes. Harmony's board and the Social and Ethics Committee take their responsibilities towards responsible mining seriously, with full oversight of group policies and strategies relating to responsible stewardship, corporate social citizenship, and ethical business practices. There is strong compliance with local legislation while driving international good and best practice wherever applicable. To this end, our board remains focused on supporting our host communities and municipalities to deliver to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for the upliftment of the people and the environment in which we operate. Climate change has been a very prominent issue on the committee's agenda, and as such, we have been embedding commitments to climate change mitigation and adaptation into business strategy and decision-making. The Social and Ethics Committee is also supported by other key committees in addressing issues related to ESG. I would like to make it clear that the committees I'm about to highlight are delegated by the board to oversee such matters. However, the board is ultimately responsible for setting the strategic direction in this regard. Key to the agenda of the Social and Ethics Committee, beyond Regulation 43 of the Companies Act, is to discuss and oversee progress related to ethical leadership, culture, and behavioral conduct issues, including anti-corruption practices and policies, public safety, stakeholder engagement, environmental matters, social investment, procurement and supply chain issues, labor relations practices, and ESG disclosures as a whole. Over and above financial disclosures, the Audit and Risk Committee focuses on strategic risk oversight. Of course, risk management permeates itself through everything like governance does. However, this committee ensures that strategic risk management items are discussed and addressed. Management provides assurance on several issues which the board must assess as well. The Executive Committee conducts quarterly reviews of Harmony's strategic risk profile, while operational management teams implement and oversee day-to-day risk management to ensure compliance. The top strategic, operational, and ESG-specific risks and mitigating factors are thus reported quarterly to this committee and to the board. With the assistance of the Remuneration Committee, the board assumes the responsibility for the governance of remuneration. The board recognizes the importance of fair, responsible, and transparent remuneration practices. This will result in the attraction and retention of required skills, and also the achievement of strategic objectives, an ethical culture, responsible corporate citizenship, as well as positive outcomes in the short, medium, and long term. The board acknowledges the importance of the use of performance measures that support positive outcomes across the economic, social, and environmental context within which Harmony operates. This is reflected in the balanced scorecard. The board approves a remuneration policy that sets the direction for how remuneration is to be approached organization-wide. I have to add that Harmony's remuneration policy was overwhelmingly supported by our shareholders at the 2020 Annual General Meeting. In addition, the board, with the assistance of the Nomination Committee, reviews board composition annually to assess the appropriate diversity, expertise, and skills mix to support and oversee ESG items. In essence, the foundation of our corporate governance is compliance with relevant legislation such as the South African Companies Act, the requirements of the JSE, where we have our primary listing, the New York Stock Exchange, as well as with the King Code and related principles and codes of good corporate governance. Good governance is overarching and embodies everything we do as a business. Ethical leadership equals ethical mining, and we have implemented the necessary governance frameworks to ensure that we are held accountable and deliver on our sustainability targets and ambitions. Being an ethical and responsible corporate citizen requires zero tolerance for any incidences of legislative non-compliance. In addition, compliance with adopted non-binding rules, codes, and standards is essential in supporting achievement of strategic business objectives. There has been an increasing demand on ESG disclosures. As regulations and legislation calling for disclosure have increased, so have we added to our disclosures. While disclosure is good, it does not manage sustainable development risks. It is only through our actions that we create real change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shella. We will now move to our Financial Director, Boipelo Lukubo. Boipelo, return on investment is important to investors. However, we live in a time when being a responsible corporate citizen is just as important, if not more. Can you perhaps explain how Harmony manages to make an impact while still balancing profitability and purpose?
Thanks for the question. Hello, everyone. At Harmony, we've adopted an integrated approach to decision-making where there's active consideration given towards the relationship between our operations and the impact they have on our resources, our people, and the environment. Harmony is based and valued on 6 sources of capital: human capital, natural capital, financial capital, manufactured capital, intellectual capital, and social and relationship capital. The way we convert our natural capital into value across the 5 other capitals determines not only how effective we are as a company, but also how sustainable we are. Through our assets, we have an abundance of natural capital, but how we create value and balance the trade-off between our capitals is what makes Harmony unique. We have finite resources in this world, but at Harmony, we strive to create infinite possibilities for our staff and their families. We are proudly South African and see wealth not just in the extraction of minerals from the earth, but in the enrichment of our country through job creation, education, and sustainable development. The vast intellectual capital within Harmony, coupled with an abundance of natural capital, ensures we can enable and empower people, give them purpose, and help them fulfill their dreams and those of their families. To ensure that we remain effective at allocating our capital, we hold each other accountable and ensure an integrated approach to decision-making. Our effective enterprise risk management framework and comprehensive ESG reporting framework mean we are aligned to global best practices.
Those are fascinating insights, Boipelo. Harmony is indeed playing an infinite game in a finite world. Risk management is hugely important in the mining industry. What is Harmony's approach to this?
Organizations today are challenged with managing a rapidly changing risk landscape, including market volatility, geopolitical crisis, widespread economic changes, natural resource constraints, regulatory reforms, threats to their license to operate, and immediate social media accountability. When we look at enterprise risk, we take a holistic view across all aspects of the business. The World Economic Forum publishes a global risk perception survey that shows the top global risks in terms of likelihood and impact have shifted away from the economic concerns and are now predominantly environmental. Our strategic risk framework addresses the following key risks: financial sustainability, health, safety, environmental and/or climate change, infrastructure, reputation, legal and compliance, project execution, and production. Environment and climate change are very much at the center of our efforts and integrated into our risk framework. We've taken a company-wide strategic view to collaborate and manage sustainability risk to ensure we prioritize the risks stemming from our operations and address their mitigation. You'll notice from these slides how we have improved from an insurability perspective. This International Mining Industry Underwriters, or IMIU, insurability matrix illustrates how much we have improved as a company from 2010 to 2020. We now have no high-risk operations. We understand that enterprise risk management plays a critical role in monitoring and managing the risks and opportunities which impact a company's success. We are transparent with our disclosures and emphasize our intent and willingness to continually improve in accordance with global best practice. By embracing a risk management culture and adopting international frameworks, while at the same time addressing the material aspects of our business, we hope to give comfort around our commitment towards sustainability and to creating a better tomorrow.
And how have the various role players influenced our ESG reporting strategy?
Our commitment to true sustainability is evident from proactive steps we've taken to make positive contributions across all spheres of society. This is evident not just through our reporting and disclosures, but also in our SLPs and ambitious targets which Melanie discussed. It is through these initiatives that we can measure our impact and ensure that we are transforming our natural capital into shared value for all of our stakeholders. At Harmony, we believe purpose can drive profit. Without our people, we would not have been able to grow into the mining company we are today. We were able to deliver an effective and coordinated response to the COVID-19 pandemic because of the emphasis we place on health and safety, as well as transparent and continuous engagement with all of our stakeholders, such as employees, unions, communities, and shareholders. A recent publication highlighted how sustainable equity funds outperformed their traditional peers in 2020, meaning that, for most of the year, the companies that sustainable equity funds preferred were those with better ESG profiles and that were aligned with the transition to a low-carbon economy. This is indicative of the alignment between purpose and profitability. Having ranked number 1 on ESG disclosure among South African mining companies in January this year, as per Risk Insights methodology, and delivering a share price uplift of 305% since January 2016, Harmony is one such company delivering both profitability and purpose, and we've received recognition by numerous third parties.
Boipelo, can you perhaps give an example of some opportunities which have been inspired by purpose?
Over the past 70 years that Harmony has operated, there have been many examples of business opportunities which have shown both purpose and profit. An example is the recent acquisition of Mponeng and related assets, which demonstrates our commitment to South Africa. Another example would be the extension of Unicel's life of mine by 25 years.
How does Harmony prioritize the allocation of capital?
We have a clear set of criteria when it comes to the allocation of financial capital to projects. We also have a clear understanding of the importance of allocating capital aimed at ensuring that we maintain our social license to operate while also delivering positive shareholder returns. The one cannot exist without the other, and we believe we have the necessary skills and relationships with our stakeholders to ensure we continue to deliver on our sustainability objectives, but also generate positive returns for our investors. Although mining is capital intensive, the safety of our employees and sustainability of both the environment and our communities will always be a non-negotiable. Delivering in line with our overall strategy and guided by our 4 strategic pillars of operational excellence, cash certainty, effective capital allocation, and responsible stewardship, we can ensure capital decisions will be to the benefit of all stakeholders, both in South Africa and in Papua New Guinea. As we look to the future, we continually ask ourselves, what can we do better? Through the coordinated efforts of everyone who spoke today, and indeed everyone who's part of the Harmony family, we will ensure that today's resources are used to build a better tomorrow. We are confident that we'll leave a positive impact for generations to come and continue to deliver sustainable value to all of our stakeholders. Thank you.
Thanks to Boipelo and all the executives who have shared their insights today. We will now take another 10-minute break, after which we return to answer your questions. Please don't forget to post your questions in the comments section of our YouTube channel. Thank you. We will now move into the Q&A with our executives. Due to limited time, we will not be able to address all the questions today. However, feel free to drop us an email at harmonyir@harmony.co.za if you weren't able to get your questions addressed, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Melanie, I think let's start with you today. We had a question which came through an email. Can you please elaborate on Harmony's targets and pathway towards carbon neutrality and how copper fits into the strategy?
Thank you, Jared. So whilst we remain supportive of carbon neutrality, we've not necessarily completed our roadmap as yet. You would be aware that we had recently concluded the acquisition and the integration of Umpening and related assets, which required us to revisit many of our assumptions. But we have been actively driving improvements in intensities as we've implemented the existing targets, both short and long term. But we are working on our science-based targets, which we aim to share in January 2022. These will articulate our goals up to 2025 and then 2030. And finally, we'll be able to demonstrate when Harmony as a company may be able to achieve carbon neutrality. We do continue to measure and monitor our environmental performance against our group targets. And these 5-year targets for FY18 to 22 have been largely achieved with further targets set up to 2027. And our current group environmental targets are published in our FY20 IAR on page 117. I suggest you actually review those as well. Additional information is available in our integrated annual report, our ESG report, and the TCFD report, all of which is available on our corporate website. Now, regarding copper, we are very aware of the importance of copper as a metal for technologies in a clean energy future. And as such, we remain committed to our Wafi-Golpu project and have essentially positioned ourselves to take advantage of this global trend. This Tier 1 copper gold asset will enable us to supply the low carbon market and further position Harmony as emerging mining market specialists. Thank you, Jared.
Thanks, Melanie. Just another question here from Lisa Wannell. Given the multiple ESG rating agencies and the number of frameworks which are currently floating around, many of the large asset managers too have their own internal processes and frameworks. How does Harmony deal with the multiple disclosure requirements given there are so many frameworks?
It is true. The Harmony team does receive all of these questionnaires, including your MSCI, your Dow Jones, Sustainalytics, and FTSE Russell, just to name but a few. On the back of these, we've developed our own framework, which is most relevant to a South African gold mining company and issues which we believe are material to Harmony. And in most instances, there is alignment with these questionnaires. We believe that this approach is good practice from an ESG perspective, as we are guided by numerous frameworks as well, such as GRI, TCFD, as well as global standards such as the United Nations SDGs and external agencies like FTSE for Good. Sustainable mining is a continuous journey, Jared, and we appreciate the call for heightened disclosure, and we remain committed to being relevant, transparent, and honest when reporting on our ES and G performance.
Thank you, Melanie. I've got a question here from Adrian Hammond from SPG Securities. Regarding our 30 megawatt power plant in the Free State and some of the smaller plants, what are we expecting in terms of the capex for these? Will these plants be financed off balance sheet? And can you perhaps tell us if we will embark on any other major power plants given the recent increase in thresholds and the announcement by the President recently?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, the initial 30 megawatts will not have an impact on our balance sheet simply because we have structured it on an IPP basis, so it will be a power purchase agreement. But we do have ambitions to grow our renewable portfolio, and some of those will certainly very likely be funded internally by Harmony. As it relates to the 100 megawatts legal almost permissions authorized by NERSA. I think it's a very, very welcomed opportunity to the industry. It will allow us to be able to accelerate ramp up of our projects, and also allow us to be in a position to start looking at regional opportunities as opposed to very localized mine-based renewable options. So certainly a welcomed change in the legislative framework. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you very much, Melanie. I've got a question here from Jared Hoover at RMB Morgan Stanley. This one's for Anton. Anton, just in terms of the wage negotiations and how things are progressing, have we any indication on the tone and what we can potentially expect? Obviously, Goldfields announced that they have concluded a 3-year wage agreement. So what can we expect, and how far has Harmony progressed as regards to wage negotiations? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, Gerard.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you for the question, Gerard. So far, we have received all the wage demand from the 5 unions. We actually received from Solidarity yesterday. And we have taken note of the Goldfields collective agreement, which we obviously have studied ourselves. So we do believe that the unions obviously have high expectations for wage increases, but we have good relationship with our employees and their representatives. And as you would be aware, that we do have frequent meetings with our unions to share with them our performance and also our financials. And we are of the view that they understand as to what the company is able to can afford. So we are looking forward to a wage outcome that will be beneficial to both our employees and also the company as well.
Great. Thank you very much, Anton. I've got a question here, another one, an email that came through earlier from Mashego. And can you just elaborate a little bit on the relationship between Harmony and the local and national government, and where you see opportunities to further improve on these relations?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Great. Jared, thank you very much for the question. I must just say that as Harmony, we have a good working relationship with both the local and the national government. We maintain these relationships given the sensitivity and importance of our operations. In all our jurisdictions, we strive to constructively engage with government directly through lobby representatives to find amicable solutions for all parties. The aim of our engagement with government is to eliminate uncertainty around regulatory changes and political risk. A good example of how these relations can be seen in our efforts to secure our SML in Papua New Guinea. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you very much, Mashego. Boipelo, a question for you that's also come through. Just in terms of ESG and the increasing importance for investors, and to what extent are you seeing ESG as a topic which comes up in investor engagements, and how are you addressing these as well as our ratings? Boipelo? I don't think we're getting any sound there at the moment. Let's move on to the next question. Another question for Anton, just in terms of female representation, and how are we making the environment friendlier to ensure we attract and keep the highly skilled technical females needed in mining?
Yeah, thank you, Gerard, for the question. I think our point of departure on this one, Gerard, was the recognition of the value that workplace diversity brings to business. And in this regard, we have intentionally developed a wide range of policies and strategies for the advancement of women in our workplaces. And secondly, I also need to point out that we're staying close to our employees, especially those that are technically highly skilled. And we also do have what we call career development panels, which get headed or chaired by each executive head, functional head. And in this regard, we then determine as to how the employees are doing in their careers and how we could assist them for further career progression. So there is a number of benefits that we have put in place as well to try to retain our women employees, especially those from the technical fields. We also provide opportunity at industry level where women are trained not only on technical skills, but also on leadership and supervisor skills. And this is run through the Minerals Council and also the Mining Qualification Authority. So all these things put together, they really do create an environment where we are able to attract and also retain our women employees, but also to provide opportunities for them to progress further in their careers. Thank you, Gerard.
Great. Thanks very much, Anton. Just another question for Melanie. In terms of our energy consumption, what percentage of energy will be from solar or renewables? And have we got any plans in place regarding targets in that regard?
Thank you, Jared. I think I did speak to targets earlier, that we are in the process of defining our science-based targets, but just targets as it relates to renewable energies. I do think that within the next 5 to 6 years, at least by 2030, we hope to have less than 50% of our energy needs coming from a fossil base. So we would want to have a very strong portfolio of renewable mix within our business. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Mel. Peter, I've got a question for you. This one is also from Jared at RMB Morgan Stanley. And Jared wants to know about the extent that flexibility was impacted across Harmony's mines. And will there be a CapEx catch-up going forward? And are you happy with the current levels of flexibility?
Yeah, thank you, Jared. Thanks for the question. Hope you can hear me well. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the question. Yes, obviously the issues that we had with flexibility stemmed from that first period of COVID response that we had in the South African country. We obviously had 21 days of hard lockdown. That obviously had no impact on the flexibility. But then we had I think about 2 months of 50% of our employees back at work. At that time, we had to mine for cash, to preserve the company. And certainly at that time, we didn't have our development and construction crews were not back at work. And we gave preference to our people that's on the gold face, mining the gold. Now, we've in this last year, we've kind of got back into normal flexibility because we took it into consideration for this financial year's plan that we're in. We're at the end of the financial year. And obviously, we're now in normal going back. I think the one operation that had a bit of impact was Kalgold. I think we mentioned it before in our results that the Kalgold was one of the operations that worked right through the hard lockdown and through the and we mined for really the high grade portions of that mine. And in the last year, we kind of caught up with creating the flexibility as far as waste stripping and everything else is concerned. So no, we are at the moment we've got no issues as far as flexibility is concerned. We are we've made up all the things that we've lost in the past.
Thanks, Peter. While we've got you here on the line, you mentioned that safety results are not proportionate to the effort that has been made in the presentation earlier. How do you see things progressing as we move to stage 3 and 4 of the Harmony safety journey?
Well, as we continue on our safety journey, we are confident that our efforts will start delivering results. Our Tibakotsi or our holistic journey that we started in 2018 is a 5 to 8 year program. and requires substantial time and resources to invest in this program. Now, as we move to the phase 3 of the journey, it is important that we improve the humanistic and organizational rating, the behavior that we talk about, as we improve that and bring it in line with the systemic rating we currently have, I think, very well under control. In addition to the internal efforts that we do, we also have external advisors who are, helping us with our journey, specifically in culture, leadership, value orientation, workforce engagements, and individual and team wellness. As we're going along, we kind of see pockets of excellence, and that leads to teams that perform better, and that translates to an overall company improvement. And of late, we've seen some good improvements in safety in the last couple of months. It's important that the strength of our leadership at each operation is paramount to the success of the safety journey. And for that reason, we've put a huge amount of effort to make the leadership much stronger. And so I'm confident that the objective of zero harm and zero loss to life will be met in our operations.
Thank you very much, Peter. Question, Boipelo, can you hear us? Have we got your sound back?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
Thanks,
wonderful.
Jared.
Okay, let's go back to your question. Just one in terms of ESG and the increasing importance to investors. I mean, to what extent does ESG come up with your engagements with investors, and what is being done to address Harmony's ratings?
So ESG is almost investor engagement-led, highlighting the importance of a clear and embedded sustainable development strategy. We are confident in what we've done and continue to do. And by focusing on what we believe to be material, while at the same time being clear and transparent about what we're doing as it relates to climate change and our social responsibility, we're confident that our ratings will continue their upward trajectory. We've allocated considerable resources to ensuring we maintain our social license to operate, and our overall capital strategy includes what we allocate towards climate change, land rehabilitation, water, and biodiversity, as well as what we spend on communities and SLPs. We understand how important it is to show a clear path towards a greener and more equitable future. And not only is this a moral imperative, it's also important and relates to the future costs of capital and access to capital markets. So responsible stewardship is thus the first of our strategic pillars, and alongside the other 3 of our strategic pillars will ensure sustainable value creation for many years to come.
Thanks very much, Boipelo. Peter, another question for you. Just in terms of Harmony's portfolio going forward, Harmony has expressed their commitment to the Wafi-Golpu project, but could metals like PGM potentially come into the mix?
Yeah, thanks, Jared. I think we've committed quite extensively. Our aspirations is really to become a gold producer with a copper footprint. But I think gold will always be core to what we do. We've also been very clear in terms of what geography we would like to operate in, the current countries that we operate in, and then obviously also to consider, partnerships or possibilities get into continental Africa. Wafi-Golpu project is a very important project for Harmony. And obviously Hidden Valley in Papua New Guinea is also strategically and important to help us to get our special mining lease. I think also increasingly our surface operations are getting more importance, and we hope to continue on this growth path in the future. And we have an exciting pipeline within our existing portfolio of our new assets that we acquired to in actual fact grow that part of our portfolio. To answer your question on PGMs, is not really part of our current plans. So we are focused on integrating our new assets into our operations and also to optimize our existing assets. I think that's probably where our focus areas will be in the future.
Great, thanks very much, Peter. Just a question that's come through for Beyers, just in terms of the current load shedding which South Africa is experiencing as a whole. Is Harmony impacted at all, and to what extent do we feel any of the pressure that's happening now with the current pressure that Eskom's under?
Thank you very much for the question, Jared. Just a reminder that industrial users like mines are not affected by load shedding, only when load curtailment is announced. And the series of load shedding that our domestic houses experienced in the last week or so didn't escalate to curtailment. So we were unaffected by the last run of load shedding. Second to that, we've got quite a number of operations that do not run at full capacity, and we use load shifting in a smart way in order to be able to make up hoisting and pumping when we do have power. The operations that do run at full capacity are affected by load curtailment, because those operations do not have the time to catch up. But in the last while, the impact on our business was really not that large. Thanks, Jared.
Great, thank you very much, Beyers. Marianne, I've got a question for you, just in terms of risk management. I know this is something which is increasingly important, and I think is being addressed across across all aspects of Harmony's business, from integrated decision making to just in terms of the risk side of things. I mean, have you got anything which you would like to say in terms of how risk and sustainability are interlinked, and to how that informs the decisions that we make as a company?
Thank you, Jared. Thanks for that question. And you can see I'm quite relaxed, having tea, sitting here in Randfontein, listening to the exceptional job that my colleagues are doing in conveying our ESG message. Risk has been a component throughout these presentations. The approach that we take to risk is that it's all about integrated decision making. So the executive team brings various strengths to the company. We all consider our decision making from different angles. So very specifically, just to remind the audience that risk also includes opportunities, and it's all about value creation. So risk really leading to rewards. And I do hope this morning everyone recognized that Harmony gets ESG and we get risk, and we make risk-based decisions to benefit all.
Thanks, Marianne. I've got another question here for Peter, and I think we can probably wrap up with this. I think we've run through our question list. So just Peter, in closing, can you perhaps tell us about Harmony of the future and what your vision is for the company?
No, thank you, Jared, and also thank you to everybody that came and listened to us this morning. We really appreciate that, and also thank you to the team in Investor Relations that actually put all of these things together. I mean, the exceptional performance that we have achieved in the last few years is a result of our successful growth strategy that we set out to pursue in the beginning of 2016. So through a number of strategic acquisitions, we have successfully added quality ounces while de-risking our asset portfolio. I want not to refer to us anymore as marginal operator, but more than an emerging market mining specialist. Adrian will also get that words now going forward. So through sustainable integrated decision making, we have transformed into a company capable of creating value throughout the cycle, I believe. We are continuously improving our communication and disclosures as it relates to ESG. I hope today have given some comfort to the audience that ESG is part of Harmony's DNA, as Marianne said. Our copper gold story ensures that we are positioned to take advantage of the low carbon future and improve the asset mix, and our focus on safety, people and communities ensures Harmony will continue to benefit all our stakeholders. We have acquired assets both in South Africa and Papua New Guinea, and through these acquisitions, Harmony is now South Africa's largest gold producer with a Tier 1 gold copper asset in PNG. In addition to growing our ounces, we are continuously improving our ESG ratings and metrics, while at the same time improving our margins. We continuously assess our capital allocation decisions, which we have only resulted in improved margins, but also a more sustainable company with improved ESG metrics. And through effective business practices, we now have a robust yet flexible balance sheet, allowing us to take advantage of any potential future opportunities while at the same time delivering operational excellence at all our mines. The combination of all these actions will ensure that we deliver our positive shareholder returns and create long-term stakeholder value, sustainable mining practices. We care about the environment, our people, and conducting our business in an ethical and well-governed manner. Our tagline for today suggests, "Who cares wins." And I just would like to thank everybody for joining us today, because who cares wins. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter, and thanks to all the executives today. That's all we've got time for, so thank you to everyone who joined us today. If you would like to revisit the presentations, today's discussion will be available on YouTube, while the slides and transcripts will be available on our website. Please stay safe, and until next time, goodbye.